Hi there, I'm Julie Cargill and welcome to Ink Out Loud Studio. Today we're going to explore one of my favorite tools that I like to use when I'm painting with alcohol ink, the toothbrush. I often refer to it as a magic wand because there's so many effects you can achieve with just a toothbrush, some ink, and some alcohol. You're going to want two different toothbrushes, one for your ink and one for your mixative. That way you don't have to rinse out your mixative toothbrush quite as often and you can conserve some alcohol. Remember to lay down some plastic to protect your work surface. Put a piece of paper towel underneath your Yupo paper to absorb the excess ink. And here's what you'll need to get started. Okay, let's get ready to make some magic. Today I am using a relatively small piece of Yupo, and it's about 4 by 6, I'd say, and I'm orienting it vertically. And I have picked out 4 colors to use for my sky and my water. I've got Purple Twilight, Denim, Patina, and Flamingo. I also have my silver mixative, which we'll use at the end for spattering our stars. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to think about our rule of thirds again. So the eye finds thirds visually pleasing, so we're going to come up a third for our water, and then the remaining 2/3 will be our sky. So I'm going to start laying down some color. I think I will do my flamingo toward the bottom of my sky, and I'm just going to lay a little bit down on my paper straight from the bottle. And I'm going to put a little bit of Purple Twilight up there as well. And a little bit of patina. Just kind of mix it in there where you want. There's no right or wrong. What we're going to do is take our toothbrush and I'm going to dip it in my alcohol just to kind of moisten the bristles on the brush. And I'm going to dab the excess off, and I'm going to start moving my ink around by swiping the brush through the ink. And I do this with a relatively light touch. Okay, and then I'm just going to let that dry for a few minutes. Now that my ink is dry, I'm going to, again, dip my toothbrush in the alcohol, dab the excess off, and again, I'm going to run my toothbrush through the ink, and you'll start to see some light coming through. And what this does is the bristles of the toothbrush create this striation effect. And as the ink starts to kind of blend and meld into one another, it almost creates a sort of mysterious cloudy effect. So we're going to let that dry just a bit. And then you can determine, do you want to continue and do some more swipes with your brush, or do you like it the way it is? I think I'm going to go back through with my toothbrush, dabbing the excess. And instead of going all the way through, I'm just going to hit a few little spots here and there to make that stripy effect a little less regular and more natural. You can also take your cotton swab, and if there's any little kind of pools of ink that you'd like to blend out, you can do that. I fiddle a lot with my artwork until I get it just so. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good for my night sky. Okay, so now we're going to add our water, and we're going to use a different technique, still with our toothbrush, but instead of putting the ink down and running the toothbrush through it, what we're going to do is we're going to put some ink in our palette. I'm going to use my denim color for that. Put some ink in the palette and dip your toothbrush in the ink. I like to do both sides so that I can run it back and forth on both sides of my brush. And I dab a little bit of excess off. And then we're going to apply our ink in that way. So we're going to run it across, back and forth. I love this denim color, this pink that comes through from the blue. It's beautiful. Magic. Okay, so there we have our water. It's always good to have a little kind of fine watercolor brush to just fix any of your lines. I like a pretty straight horizon line on my pieces. So I like to take a brush and create a nice line. And we probably will go back through that again once we add our detail in there. Okay, so I'm gonna take my toothbrush again and dab off the excess. And again, I'm going to run through my water, try to blend it out a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm going to take my little paintbrush here again and create my nice horizon line here. And that's going to give me a starting point when I apply my crashing waves effect. Okay. I have several pieces of scrap Yupo, cut-offs and old paintings, failed paintings, and I use that to mask off the areas that I don't want to hit with the alcohol. So I'm going to cover my sky as I work on my waves in my water. And all I'm going to do is take my piece of Yupo and put it at a slight angle. I like to do a slight angle when I'm creating my waves. It just feels a little bit more natural, like big crashing waves. And all you're going to do is dip your toothbrush in the alcohol, dab off the excess, and you're going to take your either thumb or finger, however you're going to orient the brush to get the right spatter effect, and spatter the alcohol into that exposed area through the masked Yupo. Okay. And I'm going to keep doing that back and forth, both sides, until I get the effect that I'm wanting. And you'll find that some colors tend to work better than others for this effect. Okay. You can see my crashing waves in my water. Okay, the last technique I'd like to show you using the toothbrush is adding our stars. And I use silver mixative. You can also do this just with the alcohol if you don't have any of the silver mixative or any of the metallic mixatives on hand. You can do this just with alcohol, but I really like the shimmer and the sparkle that I get when I add the silver mixative. So you're gonna wanna shake that up really, really well. There's a little ball inside that helps mix it up. You're going to put a little bit in your palette and take your other toothbrush that you have that's dedicated for your mixatives. And I like to just dip the little bitty tip part in there. The whole thing doesn't need to be dipped. So I dip it. Oh, let's not forget, we want to mask our water because we don't want stars in our water. Okay, so I'm masking off my water and I'm dipping my toothbrush in the mixative, and then I'm gonna take my thumb and I'm gonna spatter. Now, if I hold it really close, it's gonna create big dots of stars and a lot of them and be very saturated. If I hold it very high up, it's gonna create a very light sprinkling of stars. I prefer to start with a light sprinkling and then add more if I want, because it's easier to add than it is to take away. So let's see what we get here. Okay. And you can see that spattering of stars right there. And there you have a nighttime oceanscape made with a toothbrush. I hope that you enjoyed today's quick little lesson and that you'll give it a try for yourself. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, like, comment on the video, ring the bell, and I'll see you soon.